All right, today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Doodlebug, aka Cee Knowledge, of course, from the group Digable Planets. Cee Knowledge, how you doing?
Good, brother. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm real good, man. Thank you. So we've been in a crazy year. We all know that. How have you been?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm upset at the situation, you know what I'm saying? Because I would love to be out there doing live shows. I mean, we was in the middle of a Digable Planets tour when this pandemic hit. But on the other side, it's giving me a chance to dig deep within self and find and do things and find things in myself that I would have probably never had a chance to do because of the distractions of regular life. Well, with this pandemic and sitting at home, I've been able to like read more books, start on projects that I've been putting on ice for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Do a lot of recording that I haven't been able to do. Spend more time with my family. So there's ups and downs to it.
Excellent. What projects were you working on?
I wrote a comic book years ago,
Oh,
and my lawyer and I wrote it together, and I put it on ice a few years ago. And recently, I've gotten back into it, and we're developing it, and we're working on. We're actually very close to getting it published, and we're working on a web series based on the comic book that I wrote. And I also recorded a couple of features. I've been doing a lot of recording in the studio. I did a whole album that I'm going to release probably within the next month or so called The Caladelphian, and working with my kids, art projects that I've been working on, just stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of good self time, you know what I'm saying?
sure. So the pandemic's going on, but you've kept busy, it sounds like.
Try to.
So with those projects that you were talking about, were you able to recoup money you would have lost from shows? Anything else that was going on? Or
I mean, not I've made enough money where I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. I mean, we got Digable Planets. We've been licensing our song to a lot of people have been asking to use our song for commercials or this and that, you know what I'm saying? And so that's helped a lot, you know what I'm saying? And luckily I've had a long-lasting career that's been pretty good for us, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not really hurting right now like
excellent.
some other people may be, but I mean it could be better. It could definitely be better, but I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm keeping afloat, you know what I mean?
So how about the rest of the group? How about Ladybug and Butterfly? How are they?
They're doing good. I talked to Ladybug maybe 2 days ago, and I talked to Ish probably a week ago. Everybody's doing well. We working on, like I said, we're working on licensing deals and stuff like that. We're trying to put together a live stream show for next year that we might do, and because a lot of our shows from this year were canceled and pushed back till next year, so not till like the fall. Around this time next year is when we're gonna be going back on tour. But in the meantime, we're trying to work out doing a live stream show we might possibly put together in
Where's that
2021.
live stream going to be?
Most likely in Seattle,
Okay.
because it's easier for everybody to do it in Seattle because the majority of the band is in Seattle. The only people that would have to fly in would be me and Ladybug. Yeah.
So let's kind of go to the beginning. Was there someone, something, a group, or a song that inspired you to get into music?
I don't know if it was a particular song or anything. I think it was basically the surroundings, my environment, my parentage. You know what I'm saying? My parents love music. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a household where you would hear anything from Frank Sinatra to Bessie Smith, Pharoah Sanders
Nice.
to Earth, Wind and Fire. You know what I'm saying? You would hear all different types of music, Charlie Pride to Sunrise. You know what I'm saying? So I was blessed to have all different types of good music in my house that we listen to every single day, blasting on the phonograph. You know what I'm saying? And the stereo and the radio. So and then my parents also were deeply involved in the Black Power movement in the 60s and 70s. My father was a Black Panther, so he instilled in me a lot of things about, you know what I'm saying, knowledge of self and things like that. My mom was the one who really instilled in me like R&B, like that soul music and stuff. Like she was into that hardcore, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. So you talked about a couple different genres of music. How important do you think that is in terms of an artist development? Instead of just listening to hip hop, listening, you brought up country, R&B, hip hop, several different groups. How important do you think that is?
I mean, it's very important. I think hip hop music is an amalgamation of all those types of music. I mean, hip hop is a music that was inspired by so many different musics, and these kids growing up in the early days of the in the burgeoning days of hip hop, didn't have access to instruments, school music programs. You're in the era of school music programs being defunded. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. I mean, a instrument is very expensive. You know what I'm saying? So these kids took what they had in front of them, which was the beats that they grew up on. The tracks that they grew up on. They liked the parts of the songs that they loved to dance to, and they took that and turned it into a culture, a lifestyle, an industry that lasts today. You know what I'm saying? So, man, hip hop. I mean, you have to. It includes so many different cultures that were amassed into one thing that started in the Bronx between some black and brown kids that wanted to express themselves, and they figured it out using the whatever they had, which was turntables, you know what I'm saying, a microphone, and they look at it. Look what it's turned into today. Like, damn, it's like all over the
Right.
world. It's crazy.
Definitely. Speaking of turntables, you used to be a DJ, right?
Yeah, no, I started off as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? My love of music. And growing up in that era, DJ was the man. You know what I'm saying? The MC was like a second thought. You know what I'm saying? It was all about the DJ, the dancers. You know what I'm saying? Graffiti. The MC had an important part, but this was in the beginning days. In those days, it wasn't that important. You know what I'm saying? More people were interested in what the DJ was doing. You know what I'm saying? The MC was just there to keep the crowd engaged. You know what I'm saying? And keep the attention on the DJ. You know what I'm saying? It became later on is when the MC became a lot more prominent. So when I first started out, of course, I wanted to be the DJ. You know what I'm saying? I grew up
Right.
around a lot of great DJs that inspired me, like DJ Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Spin Bad, DJ Cosmic Kev, uh, DJ Grand Wizard Rasheen, who taught DJ Cash Money. These cats were all from Philadelphia, the city I grew up in. And I was lucky enough to be able to see these cats live and direct, you know what I'm saying, at block parties as a like a 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid, you know what I'm saying? Seeing these kids like
Nice.
just like staring at them like in amazement, like wow, just soaking in everything they was doing. And I would go try to steal them. Back in those days, DJs kept their breaks like close. You know what I'm saying? They would like cover up the labels. They didn't want nobody to see it because if they had a fly break that nobody else had, they wanted to be the ones. That was like their signature sound. So you would like I
Oh.
would try to go up by the DJ booth and see what record that was, so I can go to the record store and get it. And you'd be like, nah, I can't. They'd have it all blacked out with magic markers, or they put some graffiti on it, or they, you know what I'm saying, put a stickers all over it. They would do something that wouldn't allow the other DJs to steal whatever breaks they found. You'd have to go on and do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Back in those days, it was definitely DIY crate digging. You know what I'm saying? You had to find them on
Nice.
your own.
It's funny you kind of say that. I was a mobile DJ from 2003 to about 2010. Not the exact same situation, but I remember when I had a hop at night or something, somebody like, "Yo, what was your playlist? I want to use that." Like, no, 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 that was my idea. That's mine.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, hypothetically speaking, the year's 2020. Just say you're DJ Doodlebug. You're at a hot nightclub. The dance floor is empty. The owner's in your ear. He's like, "Yo, we got to get this place popping." It can be older, it could be newer. You got a mixed crowd. What is your go-to song to get that crowd bumping?
Dang, there's a lot of good songs. I hate to put songs like that, but if I had to pick one, I would probably put on Dead Prez. It's nothing
Oh,
like
nice.
hip
Great
hop.
song.
Yo, that joint right there, yo. I don't care who you are. That joint makes you jump, yo.
That gets you real excited. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great choice. So tell me about Digable Planets. How'd you guys come together as a group?
Well, that was like the late 80s. I was in a group called the Dread Poet Society, which was based out of Philadelphia. And I was also a student at Howard University in Washington, D.C. And around that time, I was me and my DJ at the time, DJ Trouble Trev. We had a group called the Osage Crew, and we were doing a lot of parties at Howard University and opening up for people like Just Ice, Salt and Pepper, and all that when they would come to DC and stuff like that. And I met Ishmael because, saying when you're on the party scene in your college years, you know what I'm saying, you party, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
the
yeah.
party scene was consisted of wherever you was at. Like we were in DC, but we go to Philly, DC, Virginia, New York. I mean, we traveled up and down the northeastern corridor to party, and I would see him at all the parties. Like after a while, I'd be like, "Yo, damn!" And then eventually, we were like, "Yo, I just see you in New York at this party." Like, yeah. And we started talking, got cool, started just kicking it about music and things like that. Come to find out that his grandma and my grandmother live in the same, basically around the corner from each other in Philadelphia. And when we got to Philadelphia, we were both visiting our grandmas, and we decided to hang out. He started telling me about this group that he was trying to put together called the Digable Planets. He had already started the demo process and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? He was at that time an A&R, well, not an A&R. He was like more of an intern at a label back in the day called Sleeping Bag Records, which was the home of Mantronics and Just Ice and a bunch of other groups, you know what I'm saying, that was on Sleeping Bag. He was an intern there. So he used his hookups as an intern to find out a list of all these different A&Rs and different that, you know what I'm saying? So he came
Nice.
back to Philly, he was like, yo, I got all these hookups and I got this demo. And I said, he said, I like what you're doing with your group, Dirt Poet Society. And I was wondering, man, if you would help me out to help get this group popping. You know what I'm saying? I said, I listened to what he was talking about. I listened to some of the sounds he had, and I was like, yo, hell yeah. I mean, what you're doing is totally different from what I'm doing, but it's the same. It's different only in the way that you applied it, you know what I'm saying, because of his unique approach to it. You know what I'm saying? He was dealing with it from an approach of an insect theory, where everybody was, you know, we had insect names, and we in the world of hip hop where everything is larger than life, we wanted to be like insects and it'd be about, you know what I'm saying, instead of being about the ego, about self, it's about the community, one for all for one. You know what I'm saying? Put the ego self behind for the greater good of the whole. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, that's pretty deep. I like that. And I mean, it was something that was interested in me. I just didn't say it in the same way that he said it, but it definitely resonated with me. And at the time, I was good friends and dating a sister named Ladybug. Well, she wasn't Ladybug then. You know what I'm saying? She was just Marianne Vieira at the time,
Yep.
and she was a dancer in this hip hop group in Washington D.C. And I met her, and we started dating. We were real cool and became friends. And when I met him, he was telling me about this group, and we would practice sometimes at each one of our grandmother's house. And one day, he was at my grandma's house, and we were sitting in my grandma's living room, listening to beats and tracks and writing rhymes. And Ladybug was there because she was my girl at the time. She was sitting there just chilling and writing, you know what I'm saying, her book. And we were like, what are you doing? And she was like, well, she was just kind of like real, like tight about it, like a little shy about it. We eventually like pried it out of her, and she started like letting us hear some of the rhymes she was writing. And we was like, yo, where you been hiding that? Yo, she had some dope little rhymes. And we was like, damn. And Ishmael, being the visionary that he is, he saw the bigger picture, and he was like, yo, he asked her, would she be a part of what we was doing? He saw that she would fit, and it would be a dope situation to have that female energy within the group, you know what I'm saying? So she agreed, you know what I'm saying? And he went up to New York, started shopping around the demo, and finally this label at a little new label called Pendulum Records was into it. It was this A&R guy there named Dennis Wheeler who saw the vision. Rest in
Okay.
peace to my man Dennis Wheeler. He passed away a few years ago, but he saw the vision and he decided to bring us in. And we had a meeting in New York City at Pendulum Records with him and label's owner Ruben Rodriguez and a couple other people were there. And he asked us to perform live in the office, and I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know they was gonna ask us to do that, but we did it and we rocked it and we impressed them, and they signed us, and that's where it all started, really.
What song did you guys perform?
We did a song back in the day. We never even made our the album. It was a song we did called Brown Baby Funk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we used the sample Charles Duke. What's his name? Charles Duke. Duke something. Somebody Duke. He famous
Okay.
jazz artist. I can't think of his name. Something Duke. And he wouldn't let us. He wouldn't clear the sample for us at the
Okay.
time, so we had to pass on that song. And but that was a song we performed live in the office for him. It was called Brown Baby Funk, and we kind of eventually molded that song into a song called Nickel Bag of Funk. It wasn't the same beat or anything. We just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, the funk part. We couldn't leave that alone. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, sure. How long did you and Ladybug date till?
Up until we got signed and started making moves, and we realized that we were about to enter a world. We were going to meet a lot of new people and do a lot of new things, and it would just probably be in our best interest to just go into this world single. You know what I'm saying? And so that there won't be no issues and that'll mess up the group. You know what I mean? And stuff like that.
That's very impressive. I could not think of working with any of my exes, let alone being in the same group.
Yeah, that's
Very
true.
impressive.
It's a special situation. It takes a special situation because it could definitely touch some heartstrings, you know what I'm saying, and make it hard to make moves, you know what I mean?
For sure. So when we talk about Ladybug, we talk about great hip hop artists, female rappers from the 90s up till today. Do you feel like Ladybug gets the credit she deserves?
Um, Maybe not overall, but with the fans, you know what I'm saying, that like Digable Planets and that gravitated towards our sound of music, I think she does. I mean, they love her. I think she's probably the favorite out of the three of us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, out of the
Okay.
three of us, she's probably the most popular, the most, you know what I'm saying, and the one that the crowd gravitates toward because she's the female. And on top of that, she's dope. You know what I'm saying?
She absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never heard anything like her. She's incredible. Yeah,
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
definitely. So you guys are a very creative group. Are you born with that? Do you guys go hiking? Are you in nature? Do you meditate? How does that come about?
I can't speak for the rest of the group, but for me personally, I mean, I like to take bike rides every day, take walks, you know what I'm saying, with
Hmm.
my family. Hiking is definitely, I love hiking, you know what I'm saying? Whenever we travel to different cities, our road manager is an avid hiker. I mean, this dude, he's from Colombia, and yo, I thought I was in shape. This dude is in shape, yo. We were in South Africa one time, and we went to it was this mountain there called Tabletop Mountain. It's like really tall,
Wow.
incredible elevation. And he called us up one morning and was like, "Yo, who wants to go hiking with me?" And I was like, "Yo, okay, we got like one more day left in South Africa. I want to go see what's going on. I do it." And me and our keyboardist Darius Woolrich was the only two that decided to go. And yo, this dude is no joke. We went on this hike. I thought it was just gonna be a nice little hike. Yo, we were hiking for hours and
Oh
hours.
man.
Yeah, it whooped me. It whooped me. But I was proud of myself that I made it to the top of the mountain. I was like, phew. It took me half the day, but I finally made it. When I got to the top, I felt like I did something. And ever since then, I make it a point to go on hikes with my road manager whenever we go certain locations. You know what I'm saying? But I try I gotta be on point because that mug, yo, he do not play, man. He is a hiking monster.
So can you take me back to when you got your record deal? How did your life change?
Oh man, it changed greatly. I mean, it opened up a whole nother world for me. You know what I'm saying? It took me places that I've never would have ever been. I was a kid from Philadelphia, and because of this record deal, it opened it up and sent me around the world multiple times. You know what I'm saying? I was able to meet many different people. Half of those people we couldn't even understand each other's language, but
Huh.
we connected on the level of music, the universal language. You know what I'm saying? So that was a beautiful thing. It definitely changed. I mean, financially, socially, my whole life changed when we got the record deal. You know what I mean?
What's the first thing you bought when your financial situation changed?
Dang, I can't. Even, I got myself a place to live, of course. You know what I'm saying?
Good start.
Um, I was going to buy a car, but I just decided not to because we was living in Brooklyn. I mean, you got a train that could take you everywhere, anywhere you wanted to go. So I didn't buy a car until like probably like after I left Brooklyn. I moved to back to Philadelphia, my hometown. I think that's when I first finally bought a car. You know what I'm saying? Prior
Okay.
to that, I was just strictly on the Iron Worm. You know what I'm saying? But I think my main first big purchase was a crib and studio equipment.
Nice. So you're touring around the world. You're going from venue to venue. You said you were with people that didn't even understand your language, but they probably knew how to say cool like that.
They did, and they definitely did.
What went into the making of that song?
Ah man, well that song was originally a song in a group I was telling you about earlier, Dread Poet Society. I was involved in Philadelphia. That was a song that we used, the beat, the actual beat, the Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers sample. We used that track, and we had a song called Skin Treatment, and the song was about girls. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day,
Okay.
skins was about the girls. You know what I'm saying? And so we had a song called Skin Treatment, and we used that track over it. And when I first met Ishmael, he we were exchanged. He was letting me hear what he was doing. I was letting him hear what I was doing, and saying, and I let him hear some of our demo, and that was one on the demo. And he was like, "Yo!" And then when he finally eventually got to the point where he wanted me to be a part of his group, he said, "Yo, would it be cool if we use that sample?" And I said, "Yo," I talked to the rest of my group. They was cool with it. They was down with it. And so we took the sample and I gave it to him. And he took it and flipped it, and it turned into what you hear on Rebirth to Slick Cool like that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So what would you say the legacy of that song is? You have so many incredible songs from the 90s and all that. I mean, would you say top 25, top 10? I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer. Just kind of want your opinion.
What, and you mean overall or my opinion?
Yeah, in your opinion, what's the legacy of that song? Would you say it's a top 25 song in hip hop, top 10?
I would say it's a top 100. I would say it's so
Oh,
many good
easily.
songs. It's
It's
a
hard.
lot of it's too many good songs. For me, I would feel a certain way if I say top 25 because it's like, damn, I don't know. I
But
mean,
you wouldn't be
I
wrong.
think it's a personal thing because I'm sure there's some
Yeah.
people out there, Digable Planets fans, that will tell you that Digable Planets is a top 25 album to the group to them. Me being a hip hop fan, and I know that I love so many groups, and there's so many groups that were so important to me as an artist and
Mhm.
as a fan that I couldn't put myself in the top 25. I would say definitely top maybe 50 to 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I think it's a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely up there. But there's a lot of groups that were so important to me that I would probably put ahead of us. You know what I mean?
sure. And even if you said top 25, I mean, it's a personal opinion. It's not wrong. I mean, there's
Yeah,
people that
that's true.
didn't.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I just feel a certain way.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So you said you're still getting endorsements for that song?
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the fact that we got people, different companies, major companies coming to us all the time asking could they use it for commercials and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. And then on top of that, when we do shows, you come to the show and you don't expect to see like 15-year-olds there. You know what I'm saying? But you see
Right.
skateboarder, you see like 15-year-old skateboarders there. You see kids there with their parents. You see, you know what I'm saying? You see a gambit of like from teenagers all the way up to like 50, 60-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Crazy how it crosses over from
Yeah,
15-year
it
olds to
does. It does.
60-year-olds.
Yeah, it does. It
That's
does.
awesome. Do you ever get sick of talking about that song or performing it because it's so huge?
There was a time I can't front. There was a time when when I did feel that way for a hot second. But then over the years, I've learned to appreciate it. The fact that I've how how it's been able to withstand time. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
some songs don't withstand this length of time. You know what I'm saying? Some songs
Absolutely.
5 years later, you like, huh? Who? What? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But the fact that it's been like this long and people still come back to it, still know it. They might not know us personally, but if you hear that, dun, 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 you be like, oh yeah, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's powerful, man. That's very powerful to me, man. That's crazy.
Absolutely. I can think of growing up because I was kind of in a rural area. There wasn't a whole lot of hip hop fans, but everybody knew the line "Cool Like That." They might not necessarily know it was Digable Planets, but
Yeah,
they knew the
yeah,
song, they knew the line, and they
yeah,
would use
yeah,
it. Another
yeah.
hot song on there was "Where I'm From." Now, how do you guys go into picking the singles on the album? Do you guys have say? Is it the record label?
It's a little bit of both. It's a like a think tank. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got our ideas, and the labels, A&R, marketing team got their ideas. And usually, the lucky thing about with us was that we were with a team that kind of like, you know what I'm saying, we were on the same level. Our ideas were syncopated. So when they thought of an idea for a single, we were pretty much in agreement. You know what I'm saying? We had our disagreements on when it came to our second album. You know what I'm saying? They wanted us to do another Reach and another Cool Like That type. You know, they wanted to keep that. They saw that Money Train, you know what I'm saying, and how powerful that song was. So they wanted us to keep doing that. And of course, being young, rebellious musicians, our whole thing was, yo, we did that already. Yo, we trying to move on to
Okay.
something else. You know what I'm saying? Trying to create new legacies, you know what I'm saying? And start new things, you know what I'm saying? So we had a fight with them on that. But other than that, in terms of picking singles, we was cool, you know what I'm saying? They were with us on the same page.
Is that why you guys switched album or record labels from album one to album two?
One of the reasons. One of the reasons. I mean, of course, that switching had nothing to do with us personally. You know what I'm saying? That was business dealings between the record label owner and the distributor that they were working with. You know what I'm saying? At the time, our first album was through Pendulum and it was distributed through Elektra. And then after the first album, somehow Pendulum and Elektra got into some type of beef. I can't tell you what it exactly was. Most likely money. You know what I'm saying? And so they decided to move on. EMI decided they wanted to mess with us. You know what I'm saying? So they signed us for the second out. They signed Pendulum Records for the second album, and that's what happened.
Nice. You said a little bit ago that they wanted you to make another Cool Like That, which is going to be almost impossible, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
would you guys try to make another Cool Like That if you could go back in time, or do you think you took the right route by doing what you did?
Nah, I think we would have done exactly what we did, and I don't think nothing would have changed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's people
Sure.
coming to us today that be like, "Yo, man, I want to redo Cool Like That." I'm like, "Cool. I mean, I ain't stopping you, but I don't really want to be a part of it. But I ain't stopping
Right.
you. Do what you do. I mean, to me, I think it's an honor. You know what I'm saying?
For
That
sure.
they even feel that way, that they would want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. But I don't think we would have done it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many other ideas and things we could do. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
if we had a chance, I think we would probably work on something totally new.
Nice. So you really want everything to do with a new Cool Like That. So say there's an up and coming rapper, he's redoing the song, but he wants to put you on a verse. You're backing out, or would you take part in it?
Depend. It depends on who it is. It depends on who it is. I
Okay.
mean, depends on who it is. I mean, I wouldn't be totally opposed to it. I'm not going to front. I mean, if Kendrick Lamar or somebody, you
Hard
know,
to say
say
no.
somebody really dope came to me and said, "Yo, we trying to do this," and I'm like, "Yo, all right, cool, cool." But if MC Joe Blow come out of the blue, I don't know. I might have to like, "Yo, do your thing. More power to you. I support you, but I don't know if I would do it." You know what I mean? Depends on the relationship you have with that artist. It depends on how you feel about that artist, and it depends on how they covered it. You know what I'm saying? For me
Makes
personally.
sense. Sure. So Kendrick Lamar, yes. Joe Blow, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Excellent. So tell me about your second album, Blowout Comb. How was that?
Like I told you, man, that was the album where we tried, you know what I'm saying? We experienced the first album, the success of it. We saw uh the good and the bad of the industry at that time. We saw how you can get pigeonholed. We saw the beauty of success. We also saw how it can pigeonhole you and put you into a certain corner. And we had to fight. You know what I'm saying? That second album, we had to fight for our right to do what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And we won. We won the initial battle, but I think we lost the overall battle. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because of that, it created a lot of tension with the label. It created tension amongst the group. Um, and that's one of the reasons why that was the last album we'd ever did. You know what I'm saying? At that time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but Blowout Comb was an incredible experience to me. I mean, it was dope to me. I mean, we had a chance. We had now more resources to work with because of the success of the first album. We had a little bit of freedom, even though we had to fight for it because they was fighting us. They
Right.
wanted us to do another Cool Like That. We were like, nah. So the fact that we had a great manager, Brenda Dash at the time, that fought for us and made sure that we were able to do what we wanted to do. We went in there and we recorded a dope album. We got an orchestra. Our band members um, were incredible musicians. You know what I'm saying? And we had them come in with some of their friends and orchestrate live. You know, like all of the little interludes are all live orchestrated. You know what I'm saying? Original compositions that our bandmates and ourselves sat in the studio and put together. You know what I'm saying? Most of the album is actually live. It's a lot of it is samples that we flipped and then recreated and then reinterpolated it through live instrumentation and things like that. You know what I'm saying? It was incredible to work with J. Rue, the Damager, you know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? Yo, that was dope. And Terry and Monica on the Four Corner song. Oh man, and just working with Dave Darlington. It was a great experience. I mean, we had just a great experience. We worked at the studio. We worked at Jay-Z. It was just so many different people working during that time. You would walk out the studio and just see like all these crazy hip hop luminaries just walking around, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of recording what at that time you didn't know, but turned out to be classic albums. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a
For
great
sure.
time. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
I didn't know it was the
Did,
last album we would do together at the time, but it was definitely a great experience.
did you guys have plans of going into recording that album? That you were like, okay, in about a year, maybe we'll do album three, or
Nah, I don't think that ever came up because, like I said, during the recording of it, tensions were going on. It was a great experience, but it was also tensions going on. We had label tensions, we had inter-group tensions, you know what I'm saying, going on that led to the group's demise, you know what I'm saying? So there was never really talk of the third one. We barely got through that second one, you know what I'm saying?
okay.
We barely got through the
Sure.
second.
So tell me a little bit more about Ishmael. Was sounds like he's a pretty leader. He kind of put the group together. Originally, it was going to be kind of a duo. It sounds like, and then Ladybug was added.
I think he always had an idea of a three, wanted to be a trio. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't. I don't think he just had the idea who that third person was going to be until he met Ladybug. You know what I'm saying? But I think he always wanted to be a trio. You know what I mean?
Already had the vision.
Yeah, yeah. Because he could have actually done it all himself. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to, but he wanted it to be a group situation. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So, at what point did you guys kind of realize you were done, or at least at that point in time, you're done making albums? 6 months after Blowout Comb, or a year?
I would say after the album was done, we started recording. We started touring to promote the album. Is when you knew. You know what I'm saying? Because the tension was really tight then. Without going into really a lot of detail, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of tension between group members, and on tour, it just wasn't good. And when we got back from tour, it just wasn't good. We had to have a meeting, and the meeting didn't resolve anything. And eventually, being young, rebellious, stubborn, and not really astute enough to be able to navigate through that drama. Like if knowing what I know now, I think I would have been able. I think I would have said a lot more, but not knowing that at the time and being, you know what I'm saying, 20-something-year-old at the time, we dealt with it the way a 20-something-year-old would deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And because of it, what happened happened. You know what I'm saying? But looking back at it now, I see we could have probably avoided this if we had just been a little bit more mature and spoke about things and dealt with it a little bit better. But we didn't. It is what it is, and I'm just glad that we were able to finally get back together, get back to a point of being friends and loving music, and just, you know what I'm saying, being brothers and sisters like we were back in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? That's like we are now. You know what I'm saying? We got back to that point, but it took a long time. You know what I'm saying? Tension was basically between Butterfly and Ladybug. That's the tension was mainly between.
Oh, really? Interesting. We go, what, a couple years later, we fast forward, you're making a cameo in the Flavor in Your Ear remix. How did that link come about?
Yeah, that was dope. Well, I went to college with Puffy. Me and Puff went to college together.
Oh.
We went to Howard University together at the same time, and I knew him. He was cool. And when they did the song, Rampage, good friend of mine, he bigged us up in his verse. And when they were putting together the ideas for the video, Puff was like, "Yo, I know that cat from Digable Planets," and he just said, "Cool, let me call him up and see if he'd be down to come to the video." And they would shoot the video actually like about maybe like 10 minutes down the street from my house in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? At the sound stage in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. And he called me up and was like, "Yo, would you be down?" I was like, "What?" Yo, man. I was like, before he could even hang up the phone, I think I was already at the sound studio, like ready to do my thing. But I was like, hell yeah. So that's basically how it came about. He called me up and asked me to be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? And to represent for Digable Planets because of what Rampage said in that in his verse.
Nice. So you were in school with Diddy. How was he then? Did he always have this amazing vision, or?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. This dude, he was always a trendsetter, like fashion, dancing, hip hop. Because back when we used to do my shows, when I was a MC for this DJ named Trouble Trev, we had a crew called the Osage, and we would always do all the big homecoming shows. Like when we had the Salt and Pepper homecoming show one year, we opened up and it was our show. Just Ice one year for homecoming. And Puffy and his crew were like from New York, and they would all come and they would start these big gigantic dance circles in the middle of the floor, and they just start doing their dances. Out there, they was crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? It was like a big movement, and they had a big thing, and it was like me being from Philly and them being from New York. We had tension. It was like New York versus Philly, like in our freshman dorm. You know what I'm saying? We'd always get into big fights. We didn't really come together until one day. We didn't realize that us being from out of state, the cats from DC didn't like us. You know what I'm saying? They did not like us. They was like, "Oh, these little New Yorkers and these Philly, all these upstate people come up here and they taking our girls and they thinking they good." So, and one day we were all, a group of us was going to the mess hall to get food. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these like a couple of carloads of DC cats just started driving past. They started shooting at us, and I was like, "Yo,
what? Oh,
yeah." And they did not like us for nothing. And then they shot up our dorm. They drove past one time, shot our dorm up, and it was like a lot of tension, and because of that tension, it brought us closer together. You know what I'm saying? We had to unite. New Yorkers, Philadelphians, Detroit, the people that lived in that dorm, they were from all different places. We had to unite together. You know what I'm saying? Because those cats from DC wasn't messing with us, so we had to like unite, and that's how we became closer. And the cats from Philly and DC and New York started getting closer, and that's how I got to know Puffy, you know what I'm saying, through the hip hop and through the music and through us uniting, because the New York cats and Philly cats had to unite because them DC cats was not feeling us. But eventually, the longer I was there, I made lots of friends in DC, and to this day, DC is one of my like second homes. You know what I'm saying? I got mad friends in DC. You know what I mean?
Okay, very good. All right, so be honest with me. Is Flavor New Year remix the best remix of all time?
I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely one of the dope. It's definitely one of the dopest ones. Definitely one of the dopest. And because you got to put in account the song, the artists that were on there, the video. It was definitely dope. I don't know if it was the best of all.
What else can we put in that category?
See, that's what I'm saying. That's a hard question. I'm trying to think. You know what I'm saying? If you off the top of my head, I would say yes, because I can't really. But if you gave me some time to think about it, I might come up with a better answer. You know what I mean? But right now, I'll say yes. I'll say yes for right now.
But okay, tentatively yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, being that you had that relationship with Puffy, was there any talk about possibly bringing you to Bad Boy or giving you a solo album opportunity?
Nah. It wasn't that. Bad Boy was on a whole different vibe. You know what I'm saying? They was on a whole different vibe than us. We was on a whole. You know what I'm saying? Puff is a cool brother. You know what I'm saying? Good brother, visionary. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Great party promoter. You know what I'm saying? But Digable Planets wasn't really a Bad Boy kind of a group. You know what I'm saying? At the time. You know what I'm saying? We did our thing. He did his thing, and it worked out. You know what I mean?
Sure. Were you a Craig Mack fan?
Most definitely. He the guys that produced his album also were friends of mine from Howard University. A lot of the cats that was on Bad Boy, the producers and all that, Derek Angeletti, all the Mark Pitts who managed Biggie and all that, you know what I'm saying? All those cats, Amin Ra, all those cats who produced a lot of those hits for Biggie and for Puff and for the Bad Boy label, all were friends. We all went to Howard University together, you know what I'm saying? And
Great.
Puff, being the cool cat that he was, he put on a lot those cats that were his homies, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't just put them on because they were his homies. He put them on because he saw that they had a vision and they had some talent too, you know what I mean?
Okay, nice. So being an artist, Craig Mack, he comes out, his first song is huge, Flavor Year, of course, there's the remix. He's pretty much propelled Bad Boy Records to what they became. Now, can you tell me any insight? I'm not saying you know the story, but why would somebody be so big, being Craig Mack? And then did he just kind of want to get out of the business? I know he had another album that came after that, or?
I don't really know what his personal situation, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I have no idea what happened with him, you know what I'm saying? I know he moved down south after the Bad Boy things got away from him, and he got hardcore into religion, you know what I'm saying, like Mace did, and he passed away recently. But I think he was a reverend. He might have been a reverend, I think. You know what I'm saying? But I know he was.
I do believe, yes.
Yeah, I think he was a reverend. He was deep into his Christianity, and I think he got into that hardcore, moved down south and stuff. But I don't know exactly what transpired with him after he lost his deal with Bad Boy.
So what else have you been up to lately? Speaking for yourself and the group.
Ah, man, just working on my comic book. You know what I'm saying? Finishing up my new album. I have a new album I'm working on called The Caladelphian. I hope to release in the next month or so. And
that's a solo album, correct?
Yes, solo album, exactly. It features on the only other features on there is my son. I have my son, my oldest son, calls himself Crown. He's featured on 2 songs on there with me. I have famous poet Ursula Rucker. She's on a song with me. She did a lot of stuff with the Roots. And the West Coast Wave Peachtress, cannabis activist, Miss Lizzie Jeff. She's also on the album with me. But other than that, it's all me. Nice. And my live band.
Okay. How is it to do a song with your son?
Oh man, it was surreal. It's incredible. The pride that I feel is overwhelming, man. I mean, he's an incredible young man. He's a vegan chef. He's a model. Wow. He's a motivational speaker. He's a producer, a rapper, a singer. I mean, he's multi-talented.
Wow.
He's a lot of he has a lot of good music out. If you check him out, if you want to, Crown 128. He's on SoundCloud. He's on IG and all that. You know what I'm saying? He's got a new project going to come out, a new song called Agent Smith, which is really dope. And they're doing like a little mini, like kind of like a thriller kind of video, like almost like a mini movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're doing like a 15-minute miniature movie called Agent Smith, utilizing a lot of that Matrix, you know what I'm saying, stuff to
Wow.
bring out the subject matter in his song. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty dope song too. It's out on SoundCloud now. You should check it out. It's really dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Yeah.
Sounds like creativity is running in the family then.
A little bit.
One of the songs I really like that you were featured in, I believe it came out in 2018, was called Loyalty. How'd you like working on that song?
Whoa, that's dope. Yes. My main man from Philadelphia, South Philly. Yeah, that was a really dope song. That dude right there was one of the dopest MCs in Philadelphia when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? He actually was in this group. I can't think of the name of the group that he was in, but it was him and his other group. They was a duo. And Big Daddy Kane came to Philadelphia back in the early 80s. And him and Big Daddy Kane battled each other. And it was like epic. I mean, you got look it up. It's like this Big Daddy Kane battle between this cat. You know what I'm saying? And they battled. It was all on everybody. This tape like was all over the you know what I'm saying, the Middle Eastern states. You know what I'm saying? New York to DC. Everybody had this tape. This dude was ill. I mean, this dude was a jazz fresh. He's a dope MC. And when he asked me to do a song with him, I was like, hell yeah, brother. Come on, man. It's a long time coming, man. Long time coming.
Absolutely. Had great cadence, great song. And anything that's, you know, with Big Daddy Kane was huge too. So
yeah, no doubt. Yep.
Definitely. All right. Well, Cee Knowledge, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. Anything else you want to promote? How can fans keep up with you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at official Doodlebug. You can also find the Digable Planets is on there under Planets Digable. I'm on Twitter at Cee Knowledge. Digable Planets is on there under Digable Planets. You can also find me on Facebook under my name, Cee Knowledge, my fan book page. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on all those things, and on the streaming services, you can find me under Cee Knowledge, and also Cee Knowledge in the Cosmic Funk Orchestra.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Enough respect to you.
Pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Peace.